Welcome in, I'm Archris, and this will be my last video for OP10 because we are about to start the EBO2 meta in a couple of weeks, and I want to go ahead and cover some of those decks, but I did want to cover green-purple Doflamingo before we went into that, because when I was playing red-purple Sugar, I really enjoyed the support that the Don Quixote Pirates got, and I thought that a lot of those cards could fit really well into the shell of Grape Doflamingo. So here we are trying out some of these cards, but before we go over the deck list and everything in between, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to drop a sub, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. It helps out the channel so much. Additionally, if you'd like to talk about the One Piece card game outside of the YouTube comments, make sure to join the Discord. The link for that is in the description below. So starting off, if you're unfamiliar with Doflamingo from OP04, he is a 4-life leader in green and purple that says end of your turn, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. So this leader plays around a lot of counter events. Being able to play 2-cost counter events because you can restand 2 at the end of your turn is really huge. Great value overall. With that being said, a lot of the shell is the same from the previous sets. We are running a playset of the 2-cost Sugar that says on play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters, they cost a 4 or less. More importantly, and probably more annoyingly for a lot of people, is the other effect here that says opponent's turn once per turn. When your opponent plays a character card, if your leader is of the Don Quixote Pirates, rest up to one of your opponent's characters, then rest this card. It doesn't matter the cost. It could be a 10 cost coming in, like a 10 cost Rush Shanks, and if this card is on the field, it instantly rests it. So it plays into some of what we have going on with our deck. A really annoying character. Your opponent has to respect it, has to try to get this off the field. There's ways to play around it where you can play a character that you don't care about first and then play a character that you want to keep standing upright. The whole reason that resting characters is really important is because we are playing 3 of the 10 cost Doflamingo. I was running 4, but I found that I only really needed 3, and honestly, really probably only played 2 in a game back to back. Running 4 is overkill in my opinion. You should probably be able to close a game out if you play 2 of them consecutively. 3 is most likely going to win you a game, and then 4, like I said, just it's like a win more at that point. I found that sometimes I needed to play other cards instead. I really wanted to try more of the 8-cost Doflamingo, which we got in OP10, which we'll get to in a second. But 10-cost Doflamingo is great because you're able to rest 3 of your opponent's characters or leaders. A combination of those 3 is really powerful. And to search all of these out, we're running 2 Baby 5 and then 4 Sugar. The Sugar is a new one from OP10. They're basically both the same thing. They're looking at the top 5 cards of the deck and trying to find Don Quixote Pirates cards. This one is from OP10, so I figured we'll run 4 of this. This one's from OP05, so 2 of this. Out with the old, in with the new. They're the same thing. They're interchangeable. We're running quite a lot of searches in the deck, and this deck is very consistent because it is mostly Don Quixote Pirates cards. I think we're running 4 non-Don Quixote Pirates, so you'll be able to hit more things than not, obviously. I'm running 4 of the Doffy blocker from OP09. That's a really interesting blocker that just says, end of your turn, if you have 2 or more rested characters in play, set this character as active. This counts itself, so if you have 1 more rested character outside of this, it will be able to restand itself at the end of the turn, even if there are effects on the field, like Birdcage, which we'll get to in a second, that says 5 costs cannot be restood. This actually does restand. I really think that 9-cost Big Mom is one of the best purple cards out there, and so I feel like it belongs somewhat in this deck, especially when you are a 4-life leader, and if you don't see your bird cages early, then sometimes you are at a low life total. You need to be able to sustain yourself by healing, and sometimes you have bricks in hand, and then you can also pitch those bricks to heal yourself and then put a 6 cost of your opponents into the life. So a pseudo removal plus also protection to keep yourself alive longer to prolong the game is really good in my books. We're running 2 of this. I would actually like to run more of this 9-cost Linlin, but after weeks of playing this deck, I'm not entirely sure what to cut, where to take this out, where to put this more in of, but I think that you probably have some room to put this at more of than just 2. As I mentioned, we're running 4 Sugar. Then, of course, we have a set of 2K counters from OP10, Giola. This is actually a pretty good 2K counter to be able to put down on the field. It says, when the opponent's attack, once per turn, you may rest 2 of your Dawn and then rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or lower. So that's pretty nice to have, especially if you're going against aggro decks. Otherwise, this will just be a 2K in your hand. The whole reason why I want to run this deck is that we have a new 8-cost Doflamingo from OP10 that says on play Dawn -1, play up to 1 5-cost or lower Don Quixote Pirates type character card from your hand, and then opponent's turn, once per turn, you may rest 1 of your Dawn, add up to 1 active Dawn from your Dawn deck. That's mostly just to get the Dawn back you previously spent to Dawn -1, so it just gets that right back for you. The card you can play out with this is the 5-cost Doffy blocker, but also we have a new Rosinante from OP10 that says on play you may trash 1 event card from your hand, draw 2 cards, end of your turn, if you have 7 or more Dawn cards, set up to 2 of them as active. I really think that this is one of the best purple cards to come out in some time. I think this one is going to be a staple in purple decks to come. It's just a generically good effect. Pitching a card to gain 2, so you're basically going net neutral there by playing this card out and then pitching 1, you're getting 2 in return. So, and then of course this synergizes really well with the deck, being able to restand 2 with your leader ability plus also 2 more with this. You can play 2 counter events on your opponent's turn. And then the other set of 2Ks that we are running are the Baby 5 from OP10. This one is a good one to be able to ramp up if you need it. However, I don't really think that you're going to be ramping up too often because you have a natural curve that is pretty strong. If you do need to ramp, you can use this. Just keep that in mind. Otherwise, this will just be a 2K. Then for the counter events, we're running 4 off-white. This is going to be an additional searcher for you outside of the Sugar and Baby 5, being able to look at the top 3 and grab a Don Quixote Pirates type character card. Keep that in mind. It's a character card, not just a card in general. And this also gives your leader or character plus 4,000 power for the battle. Super important and very nice to be able to get further into the deck and find things you might need. We're running 4 Spider's Web. This will be able to give your leader or character plus 4,000 power, then set up to 1 of your characters as active, so it can protect a character through the battle math, but also protect another if it needs to be restood, so that's very important. Then we're running 2 Noro Beam Sword. This one is not searchable in the deck, so this is one of the other cards besides Big Mom that you can't search out through any of your searchers. However, it's a very important counter event because of the fact that you can. Obviously, you give your character or leader plus 2,000 power for the battle. I don't think that's super great for the stat line of 2. More importantly, though, it rests up to 1 of your opponent's characters. So if you have a character that's coming in and swinging at you for 5 or 6, and you are expecting a bigger swing from another character already on the board established, then you can use this counter event to get out of that first swing and then rest the second swing to prevent a bigger swing from hitting you. So that's very important to keep in mind. Then we're running 2 God Threads. This is a new card from OP10 that's a main event that says KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters that is 5 cost or below, then add up to 1 active Dawn from your Dawn deck. Sometimes it's important to answer the board where maybe the opponent has a pesky 5 cost that they're keeping standing upright and you can't get rid of it. Maybe there's a smoker on the opponent's side of the field. This is a really good way to get rid of that and also ramp at the same time. So that is why we're running this. You could run other counter events instead, but I do like God Thread at a 2 of. It is searchable. And also, it's just good removal. And then finally, we're running 3 Birdcage. This is a great stage where it is a 5 cost stage. It says if your leader is Don Quixote do Flamingo, all characters with a cost of 5 or less will not become active during both players' refresh phases. End of your turn, if you have 10 Dawn cards on your field, KO all rested characters with a cost of 5 or less, then trash this stage. This is a great way to quell any kind of aggression coming your way. Being able to keep all of your opponent's bodies suspended for all of your turns until you hit 10 Dawn is really important here. And also keep this in mind that you will suspend your characters as well by doing that if you decide to swing, but you have things like Spiderweb to stand them back up if you need to. The later the game goes on, the worse this card kind of gets though. So after your 10 Dawn turn, this is basically just a 5 cost kill spell for anything that's 5 or less, so sometimes that's not really great, and you need to be able to pitch that out, so you can pitch it with the 9 cost Lin to be able to heal if this is in your hand and is a brick. So all of these cards have a little bit of synergy with them, even if they aren't necessarily with the Don Quixote Pirates package. There is just good cards overall. With all that in mind, obviously this leader is not a top tier deck, but it is one that has a lot of synergy, very consistent in what it does, and I think that might have a little bit of merit when you're trying to take it to a local, not necessarily a regional deck, not necessarily a highly competitive deck, that's for sure, but it is one that I think if you're looking to do like an off meta night at a local, this one is a great one to take. So let's take it into the sim and see how it does. All right, Purple Luffy. We are going to have a nice lore-accurate battle here. Let's see what we got. I don't like this hand. I do like this one a little bit better because we have a Searcher. We have Rosie. We can find some of our top end with Sugar. So, unfortunately, we don't have any way to really interact with their board. So we're gonna just, oh, now we do. Okay, we have a Sugar, so we're fine. We'll draw into, we'll get the 8 cost so we have it to play down later on into the game. I was going to say, we don't really have anything to interact with their board, but we do have the Sugar to be able to rest things. Although, I don't really like swinging into Purple Luffy's board. I just mostly like to pressure their face and then race them at some point. But who knows? Maybe we can find a Birdcage and then keep all of their stuff tapped down. Maybe I won't be so lucky. I don't know. We'll swing 5 into lead. I'm going to play out this other Sugar and search. even further, but I'll play out this one first. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I'm just putting it onto the field to establish dominance. I don't really care for any of these, so we'll just get the off-white so we have an additional search for the next turn, because I don't really want to play too many 8 costs. Like, I think maybe 1 or 2 is fine, but I'd rather have like a 10 cost for this matchup to be able to suspend some of their stuff and then swing in big with the 10 cost 10k body. 5 and a 1, we'll let that one go. As you can see, these searchers are eating up some of these attacks, so they're acting as blockers. So in this early game, that's basically what we have to do, is just take their attention and divide it elsewhere. So that's, or I guess mission accomplished here. This is really tricky for Purple Luffy because I'm wondering what they're going to end up doing here. Will they play something small and then play something big? Maybe like a Law Searcher. Either way, I'm resting this Zoro down. Just to be annoying. And the following turn, I think I can end up either playing the Rosie or the Doffy blocker, but I feel like I'd rather just play the Rosie down instead, not the blocker, but the Rosie, so that this way I can draw deeper into the deck. Okay, so we're gonna rest the Zoro. We are preventing any attacks from happening. We're just kind of prolonging the game here, just to until we can get to our later stages of the game. We'll play out the Rosie. Which one do we want to pitch? This is really difficult, actually. We'll swing 6 into 6 because it doesn't really matter. If we swing 6 into 5, they can just block it and give us a 1k. So either way, they'll give us a 1k no matter what. Here, we're going to go Rosie, and we'll play... I guess we'll pitch out the off-white because we have a few already, or have another one already. So drew into 2Ks. Not the worst thing in the world. Definitely great for being able to protect ourselves later on. I'm going to probably use this off-white. Even if it's like a 5k swing, I might just use it on that swing because of the fact that I want to see what else I can find. We're going into 8 Dawn, so we do have the 8 cost Doflamingo. Ah, unlucky. 9 cost Linlin, always here to ruin the day. Yeah, I just wanted the Rosie to stay on the field. This card's so good. I just wanted it to be on the field for like a little bit, but I guess we won't have that option. Let's go ahead and rest the Zoro just so we prevent one of these swings from happening. We don't really have a way to interact with the Linlin quite yet, and if we prevent the Zoro from swinging at the sugar, it means that the leader's going to swing into it. I'm going to go ahead and just get a search off because I don't think they're going to swing with the kid. We can actually give them a 2k2 just to be like really cheeky with it, and they will swing the kid at it. Here's where if we had Birdcage, it'd be perfect, but I don't think we're going to get it. So unlucky. We'll swing 5 into 5. And this is also another reason why we kind of like countered out for that sugar swing to get the kid to swing so that we can swing past the kid without having a free block. We'll go ahead and rest 1 or -1 to bring out the blocker Doffy. Usually what ends up happening with Purple Luffy is they play like 3 or 4 bodies and then they go into 7 cost Sanji. So I fully imagine a 7 cost Sanji coming down this turn. It's just like the theme, the motif, like the repetition of playing against Purple Luffy. It feels like they always... What was I saying? Yeah, they always have it like Zoro into like usually Luffy Taro, Sangoro, into like a Big Mom or a 9 cost Rush Luffy, into like a Sanji. It feels like they always do that. I don't know why. I've probably played like maybe 3 Purple Luffys today alone that have done that exact thing. And I've played 3 Purple Luffys, like 3 out of 3. So, insane. 6 into whatever it was, we'll let it go. They Gamma Knifed it as well. You can have the blocker, it's fine. I'm going to counter. Actually, I'll take this one. I was thinking about countering, but I think I'll just take it. God Thread's kind of useless now. It would have been nice to have it earlier. But, oh well. We'll go ahead and Noro. No, let's Spider's Web. We can use any one of these. It doesn't really matter. Or we can actually just hold on to it. I think that maybe holding onto these events for the later stages of the game might be more important here. As you can tell, I have a lot of dilemma on what I'm trying to do. We'll swing 5 into 5. They might block this one. It could be a free block, and that's fine. They also might not want to block it because they might not want to defend this 9 cost coming their way. But let's go ahead and swing 9 into 5. And then we'll play out the 10 drop Doflamingo. And what we'll do is we'll suspend Zoro, Linlin, and Sanji. Obviously, the leader can still swing, but that will be the least of our concerns here. We do have a lot of protection ready to go. I think because we were holding off on using it the previous turn, we can safely start using it this next turn. I think the most important one to use is off-white, because if we can find one more 10 cost, I think we'll be okay. Right now, we're in a really sticky situation where it's like we have to protect ourselves from at least one swing this turn. I don't think I can go down to 0 life, comfortably at least. And I don't think they're going to swing their kid blocker. I really don't think they should, to be honest. I think this is one where you actually keep it standing upright. But we'll see. We'll see what they have. Okay, so Luffy Taro into probably something else. Sangoro to get rid of the Zorjuro. Sure, just get rid of it. That's fine. They are going really wide here. Love to see it for them. Hate to see it for me. And then if they decide to swing like 8 or 9, I think we just counter out of it. They probably... What the... Gamma Knife. They're Gamma Knifing my... What's going on? Okay, so here we might actually not use the off-white. We might want to use Spider's Web to restand it because they could swing the blocker kid into it. So I think we just restand it and prevent that from happening. This is why we hold on to these events. My indecision's paying off. Yeesh. Okay, so let's go ahead and God Thread the Sangoro so they don't have further card draw. I think that's important. And there's... there might be a way we can really just play to the board. We have a lot of counter events, so let's just swing 6 at lead. See what they do here. Give us a 2k. Okay, they give us a 2k. Let's go 9 into lead. See if they take this one. We are just going to pressure. Let's pressure face. I actually feel pretty comfortable here. I'm not going to lie. I feel really comfortable. And they just block it. Okay, cool. I was thinking about pressuring the board, but once again, at the beginning of this specific match, I said that I don't like swinging into the board. I'd rather just swing into Pluffy's face. I think that's more pressure for them than the board, of course. Harder to counter out of. A Lin. Interesting. I think that they're trying to just stay alive. Maybe they feel really threatened this turn. We might be able to close it out, actually, with 2 life. You know what? You can never count it out. You can never count Purple Luffy out, especially with 1 Dawn open. Let's go ahead and Nor Beam Sword and just protect ourselves from a Lin swing. That's why this card is so good. Here, let's go ahead and off-white, see what we get. Okay, we'll just get a 2k. And then we might take this Luffy Taro swing. Eesh. Doesn't feel good going that low. Okay, this is fine. We got a 9-cost Lin. We can ideally... Oh my gosh, what a draw. What a draw. Okay, we'll go 5 into... This changes everything. We'll go 5 into 5, 9 into 5, 10 into 5. And then we're going to stun the 3 rested characters. And then they only have 2 swings, ideally, right? Actually, with that, we can actually go 9 into 7. And we can stun the leader. So they can only have 1 swing going on. I like that. I actually like this a little bit better. This way, they're down to 1 life. They'll have 1 swing. And then we have these 3 big bodies the following turn to be able to get past, hopefully, a blocker and maybe Gum Gum Giant, depending on what they have. We also could maybe take this life pretty comfortably and go down to 0. I know that sounds weird, but we could do it and then heal back up with the 9-cost. I don't know if they're going to have enough counter to get out of some of this stuff, either at face or at some of the bodies. Kind of just playing it by ear. This matchup is actually pretty close right now. I didn't expect it to be this close because usually Purple Luffy's pretty darn aggressive here. Okay, so 11 at lead. We're just going to... I think we just take this one. We just have to take this one. And then they might block her up. They have 8 remaining. They could go Sanji, but I don't think they would go 11 first and then Sanji. My guess is, yeah. Just block her up. This is where like God Thread would actually be pretty solid. I actually like that. If we had God Thread, we could hold on to that, but we got rid of it. Oh well. I think ideally we can probably just try to bait out some counter from their hand. Maybe do maybe like a 5 or 6 at lead. See what they give us. If they counter out, we'll probably play the 9-cost. Oh, with Birdcage in hand, actually 9-cost is looking really good here. I really like this. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and play out the 9-cost instead. We'll just... Let me think about it really fast. Is it better to swing first? I think it might be. Let's swing 5, just see what they do. Rather than invest any Dawn, let's just give them a 5 and see what they do. They could block, but I doubt they'll block on this one. They'll probably just give us a 1K. I don't think they'll take it either. The Gum Giant? What? They must be bricked up right now. Oh, they had Sangoro. What the heck? Okay. Wow. Interesting enough. Huh. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and play the 9-cost Linlin. Let's minus a Dawn to heal up one, get rid of the Birdcage. Really good use of that. We'll put the blocker to the bottom, and I think we'll just swing 9 into 8. And then we might go 10 into 8, depending on if they counter out of this. They give us a 2K. Okay. 10 into 8. You gonna let this go, or are they gonna protect it? No way. Another Gum Giant? What the This card is so broken. Oh my gosh. Okay. So they protect that, and I think at this point, there's no way they drew into another one. Let's swing 11 into 9. Just get rid of this Big Mom. Oh you gotta be kidding me. This card is, I swear to God, this card is going to be banned at some point. It feels like it. It's just, they started with one, they drew into another, and then they drew into another. Insane. We actually might be cooked here, folks. Okay, so an 8 at lead. We'll go ahead and counter out with this, with the Spider Web, because it's a clean +4 with one card. Perfect. The really good thing about Gum Giant here, though, is they minus like 6 Dawn that turn, so they're only at 6 active right now. Okay, we'll restand the Doflamingo just to be safe here, because that's an easier swing if they want to start going after the board, which I doubt they will. I think they're probably just going to try to push through. Oh man, this is so nerve-wracking. What do they have? What could they do? So they have 9/9, and they could potentially swing like another 11 or 12 if they use their leader ability. So they go 10. I think we just take this one and don't show them anything quite yet. 5 lead, okay. We'll go ahead and give them a 1K. Oh my gosh, they didn't. We have just enough. Oh wow, we have 15 exactly. They didn't use their leader ability to pitch that, or to rip that life off to get one extra one. If they had, I think they would have had it there, but they decided not to do that. Opponent recognizes the ridiculousness of both of those plays there. The fact that they had 3 Gum Giants, and then I had exact counter to get out of that. It is what it is. But yeah, that was a really close one. I think had they used their leader ability there, we would have been a little bit cooked, but we kept it pretty competitive for Purple Luffy. All right, Vegapunk, pretty rogue deck right now, but I do think that it does have some merit to be played. It's very aggressive, and with, I think, decks like Lucci not necessarily being as prevalent, or prominent rather, it might be worth playing Vegapunk. I actually think Vegapunk could be a good pick for the EVO2 meta as well. It does get some support. Maybe this person's getting a little bit of practice in beforehand. Swing 6. I don't think they're going to have anything to come down. Like, I don't think they're going to play an ace this early. Actually, they can't. They're on 4 Dawn. So we'll leave 2 open just in case. I don't know. For whatever reason. We could have swung 8, but it is what it is. We got a card out of hand, so I think that's fine. They're going to use the Doreshi, grab a Nico Robin, and a counter event. I don't really want to swing into them right now because of the fact that Nico Robin will draw them cards off the trigger. So let's keep their hand size relatively low to compared to what it could be. They get a Lilith and an S-Snake. Both of those cards I'm fine with. Nami is the card we don't really want to see. Nami being able to answer the 5 cost that we have on the board. If we do get a Birdcage, all of their stuff is 5 cost or below for the most part, so we should be able, they had the Nami, we should be able to lock things down. We do have the Birdcage, but the 10 cost is a little bit more sweet in my opinion. I think we're just going to be greedy and we're going to grab the 10 cost here. We'll swing 6 in a lead. And we will swing another 6 into lead. How about that? We'll play the Giola out so that we can rest the Lilith if they decide to. Well, I guess they wouldn't swing. They would swing with the Lilith first, but maybe this is like a little bit of an investment. How about that? They go Nami to get rid of the Doffy blocker, as to be expected. Our hand's really bricked up right now, but they're not really focusing like attacking life. Like they haven't really swarmed the board. Sometimes they'll put like 2 to 3 characters out early game, and it's just really hard to come back from that. But we're kind of in a good spot right now. 6 into 1. I think we go ahead and use the Nora beam to rest the Nami, and then we're going to use the off-white to search even further. So this way we can at least maybe swing into something. I think that might be worth it. Yeah, because otherwise they would just restand the Lilith, so that's kind of annoying. We'll grab a God Thread and go ahead and use the God Thread to pop the Nami and gain an active, and then we're just going to swing 8 into 5. Ramp up a little bit. We're just trying to control the board for this like early to mid, because as you can see, we have a lot of top end right now. But unfortunately, we don't have anything for the 8 cost Doflamingo to be cheated out with, so we might just have to play the 9 cost Linlin, depending on what they do. Actually, the Linlin would be really good here because Egghead will restand characters, or at least one character, if you are at 3 or less life. If we put a character into their life and then don't swing, they'll be at 4 and they can't restand stuff with Egghead. So that actually is a pretty good application there. So we are at... Ooh, another 10 cost would be good. We're at 9 now. Yeah, we'll just play at the... There's not even a question. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and pitch one of the 8 costs because, well, we don't really need 3 of them. And then we'll pass the turn. If they decide to swing with the Shaka, it won't restand because of Egghead. As I mentioned, your life has to be 3 or less. They're at 4 right now. We're not going to attack into them just yet, so they can go ahead and have this one. That's fine. We have to find a really good time to play down the 10 cost. I want to be able to get like the maximum amount of value from it because it doesn't feel good stunning one thing. If we can stun like 2 things, I think we'll be okay. Okay, so they go S-Snake and Shaka. Not really a concern there. Let's go ahead and swing 9 into 6, see if they give us that. They do. We're going to go ahead and play out the 8 cost. We're not going to bring anything out with it, unfortunately. It is what it is. And then we'll just pass the turn. Here, they might want to swing into me with these bodies, and if they do, we'll go ahead and stun them. Hopefully, the S-Snake and the Shaka both swing. They're going to go ahead and use the Nami to get rid of the Giola. I don't really know if that's like a good use of... See, like Nami's a weird card where you go down in hand size, and Vegapunk being able to heal up by getting rid of their hand size isn't necessarily great either. We're going to go ahead and use the counter event to restand the Linlin. Not that it really mattered. Oh, finally we have something to cheat out here. Let's go ahead and play the 8 cost to bring out the Rosie, and then pitch the Spider's Web, grabbing 2 more events. Oh, so nice. We're going to go 6 into 6, see if they give us that. If they don't, we can just go ahead and swing it with the other bodies. Wow, they countered out of that. Very interesting. Okay, so we're going to restand the Dawn, and then we have enough for Off-White and Spider's Web just in case they decide to go really big again. Looks like they might just try to go wide, which going wide I think might be the solution. I don't know if Vegapunk really runs Yamatos anymore, to be quite honest. They go 9 at lead. I'm going to take this one. I think this is fine. We haven't taken any life yet. Let's go ahead and take this one. Doflamingo, pretty sweet. Let's swing 5 into the Nami and see if we can bait out a block here. If we get a block out of it, oh yes, exactly what I wanted to see. Let's swing 6 into lead. This might be a Nami to pop my Rosie. I imagine it could be something like that. Okay, just another blocker, that's fine. We'll go ahead and stun these 2 and then pass the turn from there. I don't want to give them card draw just yet. I think that's the reason why. Here they might just go really big into the Rosie, and that's fine. We need board space for the other 10 drop. They have all of their Shaka blockers. Very interesting. I think this one's pretty much done at this point. We're just playing like a slow game here. Okay. 11 into 6. We will go ahead and just let that go. I think here we just swing 5 into lead. See if we can bait out another block, but I don't think they're going to do it. We'll go 9 into lead. We're just going to swing with the rest of these characters here at lead. We don't really care about any triggers. We're pretty healthy, and we'll be able to stun. They're just going to block. Okay, we'll take those. We'll take the blocks. We'll swing 10. Hopefully no trigger, but it doesn't matter if there is or not. We'll play out the 10 cost and then freeze these 3 and then pass the turn. I think we pretty much wrote the game at that point. It's over because of the fact that they just can't apply any pressure. They could play out like an ace, but we're at 4 life. They haven't touched our life. The only life they touched was the one that I put there with the 9 cost. So it's an uphill battle for them. Yeah, they do have the ace. Not that it matters. I think it's a little bit too late at this point. We can go ahead and protect it with off-white if we want, or we can just take it, but I think off-white might be better here, just to be safe. Grab the sugar. And then here, we're just going to have an onslaught. It's going to be very ugly for them, unfortunately. I think we can just start off with a 9, see if they counter out of this. 9 is usually a safe bet. Okay, so they snap block. We'll go another 9, see if they take it. I don't know if I would have triggered the Frankie there. I would have probably put it into hand, just because it's a 2K to guarantee to like at least have something to protect yourself here. 11 and a 5. They might have enough to counter out of this, but then that means they probably don't have enough to counter out of anything else. Please save me. So +3. 2K, 2K. Okay, cool. 3 cards in hand. That means 11 will hit. And with the Luffy in hand, or going to hand, that means the rest on Big Mom. Big 17 here. We played a slow game. It wasn't really that hard, to be quite honest. So, unfortunate for Vegapunk. All right, second against Teach. I want to take him off curve. This is going to be a very difficult matchup because a lot of our stuff is on play. We do have big bodies, which is nice because bigger bodies are going to be harder for them to answer. We don't have a lot of stuff to do early to mid, so it doesn't really matter for some of their like removal spells. But the problem is our late game is good, but their late game is probably better. So we just have to try to put as many bodies that are pretty tall out on the field as possible and kind of play like an awkward game with them. We do have Birdcage to stun some of these things, so if they play things like Burgess, we can stun them if they are tapped. In order to do that, we can just play a Sugar right now. This Sugar will be able to bypass the Dock Q. If we play the Baby 5, the Dock Q would just instantly just KO it, so no reason to play the Baby 5 just yet. We need to force them to be able to answer a 2 cost. It's going to be really awkward for them because anything they throw down is going to be like instantly rested, so that's annoying. I think that's what we have to do against Teach. We just have to be annoying. We just have to annoy them as much as possible. And this Sugar will definitely do it. So they use their leader, or they use their stage rather, to grab a 2K Shiryu. Is that right? Yeah, that's the 2K Shiryu. Not the one that is in OP10, I believe. The one that KOs. Activate main. They grab a Van Augur as well. All of these cards don't really matter. The only one that I really care about is the 10 cost. Here they swing 5 into 5. We'll just take it. Double Birdcage is not good. That is definitely not what we want. They should have played the Dock Q first and then swung into the Sugar, in my opinion, but we'll let them do that. We'll go ahead and let them do that. Okay, so we'll use the Baby 5 to search out... Off-white, I suppose? And then I'm going to swing into the Dock Q just to get it off the field. So this way they have to decide between the Baby 5 or the Sugar. And that's a tough decision. For me, I'm personally going after the Sugar, but if they want to stop a search from happening, that makes sense as well. We'll go ahead and get the off-white going because of the fact that we're not going to be able to counter... Oh, actually, because we got the counter from the Baby 5, we can use it. Just to... Once again, we're just trying to annoy them. We're just trying to be cheeky as possible. If I didn't get that Baby 5 off the off-white, I was probably just going to let the Baby 5 go and get a search off. But I don't want to drop a 1K Rosinante because I think that's a pretty important card. Yeah, as you can tell by their paws, they're kind of like, what do I do? The Baby 5's on the field, the Sugar's on the field, doesn't matter what I throw down. Like, they're at 5 Dawn right now, so honestly, a really good play from them could be to play like a Kuzan and then use the Kuzan. Because the Kuzan comes out, it gets rested, and then they just like trash it to bring something else out. Laboon. Okay, so Laboon comes down. Fair, I suppose. Do they have one remaining for like a Lafitte? I feel like I would care more about having a Laboon like standing upright though. I don't know. Okay, use leader ability. We're just going to swing into the Laboon, see if they give us a card. This is probably an easy like 1K counter for them because most people will want to keep their Laboons on the field. Yeah, so let's go ahead and use the Baby 5. We'll grab another Sugar as a backup, as insurance, and we'll go ahead and play out the Birdcage and then pass the turn. Birdcage means that this Baby 5 won't restand, but we do have the opportunity to restand it with Spider's Web if they decide to swing it face. We also have a backup Sugar just in case this one goes down, which it might. You never know. So they have used the stage and they're looking for probably 10 drop, but honestly, like What do you find at this point? You have to find like a black hole, something to answer the sugar immediately, because this sugar, this sugar is getting so much value. It rested a Dock Q, it's rested a Laboon. This Laboon is never standing upright again. I'm sorry, Laboon. So they grab Liberation. Okay, so the 6-cost event that KOs 2 if you have, or if I have 2 or more characters than they do. We'll go ahead and use the off-white just to get a search. And we'll let it go. I don't want to give them the sugar and I don't want to give them the rosy. Just get the search off. I think that's fine. Have a big body to play, ready to go. It means that they have to respect us on 10, that we have to, they have to use their leader ability at least. And I imagine they're probably going to use their leader ability for the rest of the game. Now, we are playing a very dangerous game right now where they are at 5 life. We're at turn 4. We should be pressuring them, but we don't really have the opportunity to. Okay, so they play Dock Q, rest the sugar. Once again, I feel like they should be playing like a character first and then using their leader to swing into the sugar. But I digress. We'll let them make these plays. 5 open. 5 open, huh? Okay. We'll go 5 at lead. Here, because they didn't use their leader ability, I'm just going to go ahead and play the 8 cost. I don't know if it was a mistake or not. That was definitely, Liberation was definitely not what they should have done. Maybe they thought that that was stopping them from doing anything, but we'll go ahead and get the ability off for the 8 cost and the 5 cost. Maybe their hand is just really good and they don't want to use their leader ability, but I feel like against this deck, at least on 9 and 10, you should. If they didn't use it there, like if they used it on the 8 Dawn turn, then I feel like it probably would have been fine as well, but we got extra value because they didn't use it. Liberation, they must have thought that Liberation was going to KO it or something. 5 into 0, okay, you can have it, that's fine. We'll go ahead and use the 8 cost Doflamingo effect to ramp back up that 1 that we minused. So we'll be back at 10 this next turn. It actually might be worth throwing down on 10 Dawn, like a 2-cost sugar and like maybe a sugar searcher and then like the Doflamingo blocker. We need to really start pressuring them is the whole point here. But also I don't want my Rosie to be KO'd with the birdcage, so I don't know if it's worth swinging with the Rosie quite yet. Okay, so they find the Lafitte with the Shiryu. They're probably going to play out the Lafitte and get a search off. They probably haven't found much quite yet. Yeah, we haven't seen them grab a 10 cost. They finally did. So we know that they have one coming down next turn. Usually if they have one, they have more as well. So hopefully they only found the one, but never count them out there. They had a Liberation. Okay, so they pitch it just to the black hole. Happens. They leave 2 open. One of them is a 10 cost. I am not swinging into any of these bodies here. I think we just go and... we could just play out like a Sugar and Doflamingo. Yeah, I feel like playing Sugar could be good here. Sugar Searcher, just see what we get. That's a tough one. I think Rosie might be the right choice here. What could we do? Let's go 5 at lead, because we know their hand's kind of hurting right now. Play out this Doffy, and then play out the Sugar, and then pass. We're not swinging R5 cost because of the fact that if we swing R5 cost, could be stunned here. And I don't want to play, I don't want to swing the Doffy as well. Because if I swing the Doffy, there's a potential that there's a trigger in life there. So just get lucky that there wasn't a trigger with the leader swing, and then pass the turn. Here, if they play the 10 drop, it's really interesting. If they play their 10 drop blocker, the sugar just rests it. So we could just swing really big into it, which is really nice. They have to play around the sugar, which is really, really awkward. It's like extremely awkward for them. All right, so they pitched the Kuzan to draw a Burgess. Once again, though, it doesn't matter. Like, I guess Liberation is probably going to be their best play here. They could probably, if I were them, get rid of the Rosie and the Sugar. I think they're just trying to set up so that once they get clear of like having the Sugar off the field, then they can play out the 10 cost. I think they've played it all right so far. Obviously, a few little minor mistakes here and there, but I feel like Blackbeard's is like such a technical deck that it's easy to make those mistakes. And especially when you go against like a fringe deck like Grape Doffy, how are you supposed to account for like, what do you do against the Sugar? You know, like what do you do? Kind of interesting there. We'll take the 6 here, and I think we'll just block this one with the Doffy. They might play out the Burgess here. It's probably their best play outside of that. Yep, that Burgess is a big boy. All right, so now we really have to pressure face. We really have to pressure face, and because we know that the 10 cost is coming this next turn, we end up having, we're going to just end up swinging 5, 6, 9. And then we'll go Doffy blocker, Rosie blocker, or Rosie blocker. Doffy blocker, Rosie 5 cost. What could you call this? Okay, swing 6, and then we'll swing 9. We know that this last card is 10 cost teach, so there's no point in acting like it's not. We're just trying to get them as close to 0 as possible. I don't care about the Van Auger. I don't care about anything else on the field. Go ahead and double 5 cost. Pass the turn. Looking pretty good here. I think we're in a good spot. I think that if they drop the 10 cost, it's going to be really difficult for them to get out of this because they're at 1 life and they're going to be able to stun the 8 cost. But then at what point, like what else can they do? We'll just swing with a bunch of like 7s or 9s. I think we pretty much have game at this point. 5 into lead. We'll just go ahead and use our Doffy blocker because we actually have ways to protect it. We can restand it with Spider's Web. We have off-white as well. That's the power of being able to restand 4 at the end of your turn. That's why Rosie's such a good card, especially in this deck. All right, looks like they're probably just going to... Okay, they're just going to go for removal here. All right, they decide that the 10 cost is not the play for them. And that's fair. That might not be the right play because they realize that it could be game at that point. So they might want to just try to clear the board. But unfortunately, I do have answers here. So we're going to go off-white, grab a Giola, and then play the Giola to protect it. And then what is their final for 7 Dawn? They probably don't have too much. I feel like if they just played the 10 drop, it might have been like... It was like a gamble, but I feel like they probably still would have lost. They had double 10 drop, as you could see, so they didn't probably have enough counter. We'll have to see what this last life is. Yeah, they had triple 10 drop. Okay, so that's why they felt like they needed to go for the board. Even then, I feel like we probably had it, although the finger gun might have changed things a little bit. Opponent misplayed from here and there, but yeah, I think the sugar just really threw them off their game. Red-green smoker is going to be an interesting one. It just depends on how many Hody Jones they see. If they see quite a lot of Hody Jones, we could be in some trouble because they can just rest the Dawn that we have standing at the end of the turn, so we can't protect ourselves as well. With the Sugar Search, the Birdcage is probably important because they have a lot of lower level cost characters, so we'll go ahead and play the Sugar, and we're going to swing into the Sanji just to try to get it off the field here. We'll pass the turn. We don't have a lot going on outside of that, so I guess we could just play out the Birdcage next turn and just kind of like threaten it. Especially if they play out like a Smoker. They play out a Chopper, so we'll rest the Chopper. They'll swing into the Sugar, get it off the field. It's totally fine. And here, we'll swing 6 at lead, and then I think it's fine to just go ahead and Birdcage. And then the following turn, what we can end up doing is just play out 8 cost Doffy into the Doffy blocker. Hopefully we get a Rosie, but you never know. They are on 7, so this could be a good opportunity to go and play Hody Jones. But if they Hody Jones, I mean, we'll just take both hits, I suppose. As opposed to, I don't know what else they could play, where I would just take 1 hit. Yep, Hody Jones to rest both the Dawn. They take a life. Restand 2, and then swing 7, swing 8. And I'm just going to take both. I mean, there's not really a reason for me to counter 2-1 here. And I am not countering out of an 8k swing. We do have options, though. We do have the Rosie. I think that might be a better option. We could go like 8 cost into Rosie to pitch a Spider's Web and then draw 2. Just to go further into the deck. I think that's fine. I think that's probably our best bet. So we'll swing 5, they counter out. Rosie, pitch. Oh, great. Love to see Beam Sword. That is a really good card here. Especially if they swing leader first. I think that they might have to respect the fact that I could have Beam Sword. We haven't shown that we have it in the deck. Sometimes people will pitch it with Rosie, and that should be a heads up. But, oh gosh, I forgot about Kid. Kid's coming down this early. Oh, and a Rosie. Oh gosh. Oh no. Are we cooked? I think we're fine. I don't know. I don't think we're fine, actually. I think we're probably really cooked right now. How are we supposed to get past this? Let's go ahead and just, I think we use our Beam Sword right now, just so we prevent this other attack from happening with the Hody Jones. And then what do we give? A Sugar? No, I think we give him the Doffy blocker because we have another one. Ay, 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 ay. This is not good. We could just play out the Sugar, rest the Rosie. Keep in mind, though, that this means that they can still use the Rosie effect if this goes through. Which they do. That's fair. And I'm not going to swing my Rosie. It might be a mistake here. I'd rather swing my leader instead of the 5-cost Rosie. It looks like they have a counters or the counters to get out of it. It is what it is. Unlucky. If we get Hody Jones here, we are so screwed. Oh my gosh. This kid is like a menace. I might want to add in Ragnarok at this point based off of how many kids I've seen. This is insane. It might just get even worse. Who knows? All right. So 9 at lead, probably. I doubt. Yeah, I was going to say, I would doubt that they swing at the 8 cost. Not worth their time. Oh, that 10 cost is actually pretty solid here. Are we going to go down to 0? I don't think we should. We'll restand, then pitch a 1. What we really need right now is the 9 cost Big Mom. Another? Are you kidding me? Another kid? This is insane. Why would you need to play 2? Why would you do this to me? 6 here from the leader. Oh, they don't even swing lead. Oh, thank God. If they swung lead, I'd be so sad. Let's go ahead and swing 9 into the kid. And I actually think it's fine to play out this 10 drop just to establish it. Freeze these kids down. It's going to be awkward for them because they have to put Dawn underneath it, which isn't very optimal because they're not getting swings with the 8 cost kid, but double kid is really strange. I've seen it before, but it's kind of like adding insult to injury. It's like, do you really need 2 kids on the field at the same time? All right, Virgo search, probably going to find, I was going to say 2K, but I mean, Monet's pretty good as well, I suppose. I don't know. What use would Monet have at this point in the game? Okay, so if they're going to give me that, I think I just use the off-white to see if I can find another 10 drop, even though it might not be optimal. Use of our Dawn here. Don't find it, but we get a baby 5 or Sugar. Either's fine, but we get the baby 5. What could they have? Are you kidding me right now? This is where the Monet makes sense. They rest the kid, get the Monet out. The Monet rests itself, puts 2 Dawn underneath one of the kids. Then they can restand 2 Dawn, put another Dawn underneath another kid, and then another Dawn underneath another kid, so that I have to attack all 3 of these kids. The really upside here is that they don't have a lot of cards in hand at this point. So we could probably just pressure all these kids down pretty easily if I had to guess. So let's go 10 here. This is going to be a hard thing to counter out of. They could have a Rad Beam, so that's something to keep in mind. But if they use the Rad Beam here, then that pretty much guarantees we can get rid of the rest. We'll go 10 into 8. We'll also go another 10 into 8 with this Rosie. And then I think it might be worth getting rid of the Monet. I really do. I think getting rid of this Monet is going to be definitely worthwhile here. And I don't want to swing into the Hody. Let's get our Dawn usage, though. Let's go ahead and Baby 5 search for 2K is good. I don't want to swing into the Hody. I think we'll just swing... I think 6 is better here. 6 into 4 is harder to counter out of. So they don't get the free Dawn usage out of the Monet. We'll pass the turn. Hopefully, I mean, we leave 4 up because if they have a Hody Jones, then at least, you know, we still have the Spider's Web. Yep. This is their game plan. We are trying to play around it here. Gosh, Hody Jones is just too good. Too good. All right, 9 into 5. I think we just take this one. I think we take it because if these are their swings, we probably we're gonna win here, right? Like, we're fine. It doesn't matter what they swing here. They could swing 5 and 5-12 and we'd be fine to get out of it. Yeah, 6-11. All the same. It's all the same. That's game, baby. Hody Jones is so good. It's just like such a nuisance and is really good against my deck too. Ay. Surprised we came out of that with all those kids on the field. Insane value. Here, we're just going to swing 11, guarantee, and then we'll swing the rest in. Wow. They had another Hody Jones ready to go. They saw all 3, or I guess 3 out of 4. Oh, geez. I'm surprised we made it out of that one unscathed. All right, green, yellow, Yamato, they chose to go first. I definitely like this hand because it will either cause them to swing into the bodies and help me prolong the game, or I can use the searchers to find 2Ks, or just find a 10 cost. I think 1 10 cost is probably pretty good into this matchup. When we get to 10, we can stun the leader and then stun any bodies that they have on the field. In the meantime, though, we will be in a pretty rough spot. Yeah, we're just gonna have to take these. Luckily, they're 2Ks, so we'll go ahead and just keep using the searchers. If they're not gonna swing into them, we'll grab some counter events. Let's see, I think Baby 5 might be good. Off-White could be good as well. We could just stack our hand full of these counter events. Swing 6 and then pass the turn. I don't know how this matchup is supposed to go, but I feel pretty comfortable. After the first swing, I feel like I'm fine. Like, we'll take the huge hit that you have coming our way. 5 into 1, we'll let that go. See, this is why it's good to throw down these searchers. We just get infinite value from them. Okay, so here, I think it's fine to go ahead and swing 6. It might have been fine to swing, or like use the sugar as well, actually. So go ahead, just like snap block. We'll go ahead and Rosie, pitching a God Thread and then draw 2. I don't really want to KO this Hawkins because of the fact that it will trash one of my lives. So I'd rather them just take the life and then we'll take care of the Hawkins later on if we need to. But I feel like that might have been a mistake on my end. I probably should have just swung 5 and then used the sugar. So that way there's more decisions for the opponent to have to make. Either they swing into the sugar or they swing face. But here, if you don't even rest the sugar, you don't give them an option. It just means that they have to swing face. So I don't like that. That's probably something I could have done differently that previous turn. Doesn't even matter. They're just going to rest the sugar and the Rosie. So maybe they can swing into the bodies regardless. I guess it all paid off in the end. I don't know. We'll see. 7 into 6. I'm going to counter out of this one. I think keeping Rosie alive is really important. Sugar less so, obviously. 8 into 6. Easy off-white. And we can grab the only thing we can. This deck is hyper consistent, but the fact that we just saw at the top 3 and only one of them was a Don Quixote Pirates is pretty interesting. Sugar goes down. And then here we can end up searching with another sugar. We're going to pass up the other 10 drops because we only really need 1 in this matchup. And I'm going to swing 6 at lead. I think it's fine to go ahead and swing another 6 at lead. Either play out a blocker or Rosie. I don't really want to drop my 2-cost events though, so maybe the blocker's fine. They've already played 1 Hody, so they might play another one. I don't know if they're going to play another one actually. Regardless, I think we'll go ahead and just play out this Rosie and then pitch to draw further. I think that's fine. We're going to restand all of these Don, but we only have 1 counter event. They don't know that though. We're bluffing. We're bluffing. They don't know this. Ooh, 8-cost kid's pretty good. Really good into Yamato, trashing one of our lives. That makes the double attack from Yamato less threatening in my opinion though. Another 7 into 6. I'll give them a 2K here. Looks like they're just trying to clean board where they can, but I think that's going to be a problem. They should be pressuring face at this point, especially when I only have 1 life left. And they're swinging 6 into 6, easy 1K counter. All of these swings into 6 are so much harder to counter out of if they are swinging 5, or swinging at 5. We'll grab the only counter from this that we can. Attack the Rosie, and then here's actually a really good opportunity to just go ahead and stun the 3 characters. Swing 5 into 5. At this point, it doesn't matter if we, like, I think it's better to just stun the characters because if we stun the leader and then 2 characters, they can still, like, play something down and then give 2 rested to, like, the Hawkins if we leave it standing upright. This way, they can't put the rested underneath something else. So if they play a Hody Jones as, like, their final play here, then the only thing they can do is put it on the Hody Jones, and we'd have to counter out of like the leader swing. So, and at this point, double attack doesn't matter if you have 1 life. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. With all this counter in hand, we're going to play down the 10 drop. See what I mean? We only really need 1 10 drop at this point. We'll go ahead and restand all of the Dawn. It's so silly to see that. It's just like quite strange. It's also really good against Hody Jones if they do have a Hody Jones. Restanding all of this Dawn means that they can only really rest 2 of it. Yeah, Hody Jones here doesn't really do much. Resting a sugar, resting, I don't know. They probably should have rested a Dawn at least, but it doesn't really matter to be fair. Because we only have 1 off-white. And what are they going to do here? 10? 10, 8? Oh, okay. This card will allow them to trash it, and then their leader gains 3,000 power. That's pretty good. So 9, 10. We have the counter for it, but let's just see what okay, so it's a 2K out of life. We saw a lot of 2Ks this game. We got pretty lucky here, and we'll grab a 1 cost, or doesn't matter, 1K counter and then 2K here, and then we can just swing the rest in. Yeah, that's I mean they played it well. GG to the opponent, but all we needed was the 10 drop to get through that game. I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of competitiveness that this deck actually brought to the table with some of the meta leaders we went against. Obviously, it's not going to be bringing home any championships anytime soon, but I do think it does hold up against a lot of the decks in the top tier of the meta. So if you're looking for a deck that maybe you're tired of playing other decks like Shanks or Blackbeard or whatever it may be, this could be a deck that you could have some fun with, take it to a local, see how it does. Obviously, with a EBO2 meta coming up around the corner, I think green-purple is going to be one of the stronger colors, but not necessarily for Doflamingo. I think we'll see a lot of Luffy rise up pretty soon. What would you change? What's in your deck list? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.